Hello, this is Carolyn with Carolyn's Paper Therapy, and I have been working on my 2023 Vintage Planner and Calendar collection from Shabby Art Boutique. I showed you on the previous video how I constructed and decorated this box, and in the last day or so I've been working on the cards that go inside that have a card for each month and several other items. So I'm going to show you those today and just briefly explain how I did them, and then we'll just flip through and see what they all look like. But I love the way the items stick up at the top and look very decorative when the item is sitting up. I plan to have this close to me on my desk, and I have a special way that I'm going to use it, and I'll share that with you. So let me put the box out of the way and show you this first card, which is January, and I'll explain how I put it together, and then all the others are done the same way. I wanted my cards to be thick. I didn't want them to sag down in the box. So what I did was I cut out the month, and then for the back I cut out one of the decorative sheets. This is all on cardstock. Then I put them together and I glued on 3 sides so that I could have a pocket inside for more writing space. So I did that, and I took my hole punch, circle punch, and punched out on the edge here. And I've also put the monthly tab at the top, and I started with the tab at the left, and then each card that I did, I staggered the tabs across the top so that they would show behind each other. Okay, so all that is constructed: the pocket, the month, the ability to write on the back, and then this piece that goes inside. I just chose one of the decorative sheets and I cut it down lengthwise and width so that it would slide in easily. I rounded the corners and inked the edges so that you have the back of this and the card inside to do your writing. I'm just going to slip this back in. And then each card is decorated individually with items so that they stick up above the top and look so pretty in that box. First, let me tell you what I think I'm going to use mine for. I have other calendars that I use and on my phone and everything where I write down my appointments, and so I don't really need this for to write appointments. But what I think I'll do is either write down my accomplishments for the month. I know when I first retired, I would spend a whole day busy doing things, and at the end of the day I couldn't even remember what I'd done, and I felt kind of bad, like I hadn't done anything. So I would write down on my calendar all the different things that I did during the day, like go to the grocery and go to the bank and balance the bank statements and visit a friend and volunteer at hospice or whatever I had done for the day. I would write it down. And that way I kind of had a record over the month of what I had done, and I felt good about my retired life. Now I'm kind of past that because my husband has passed away, and I'm just doing things I enjoy right now. I've been caregiving for 6 years, and so I spend time taking care of my dog, spending time with my dog, walking him outside, and working on these journals and doing some crochet and knitting. So I don't need to write all that stuff down. What I thought I would do is make it more like a gratitude journal, or just thoughts that I have, positive thoughts that I have during the day, things that come along that enhance my day. And so I could do that each day, or just ever so often in the month of January. Then at the end of the year, I can take all these out and put them in a special place where I can refer back to the year of 2023. So on my January month, I used just a piece of lace, and I fussy cut out the little bluebirds. I have them sticking above. They're also inked around. All the fussy cuts are inked around. And then I put a bow or something pretty like that to stick up above the card itself. So that's my January card. My February card with the bluebirds on it, I used some coffee dyed cheesecloth, one of the butterfly cutouts, some bling for the body of the butterfly, and a bow over here on this side. And again, I've done the same thing with the card, and I stagger the holes down the side of each card. Like this one was up higher, this is down lower, and you can see how the tabs are staggered. The way I did that was I laid January on where the February was going to go, and I marked where I wanted the February to start. That kept things kind of consistent through the project. This is March. March is a special month. It's the birthday of my daughter. And so I might put a little heart around that date, or a crystal or something on there to mark her birth date. I chose, because I had the roses on here, I chose the rose cut out to stick up above. I used a little piece of muslin or cheesecloth and tied it in a knot, and then stuck on these ribbon roses that I got at Michael's with a pearl in the middle of each one. Again, you've got space on the back to write. You could also add a little pocket on the back if you want to add. If you fill up your month and you want to add something, you can put a pocket on the back and have some inserts. I believe there were 3 pockets that came with this digital kit, and you could duplicate those and have as many pockets as you want. April is springtime, so there were birds on here, and so I used a piece of lace to stick up above, and these birds fussy cut out. I also accented the month with some pearls. On the back of this, I used the bird pattern paper. It also has a pocket. Each one has a pocket where you can pull that out and write on it. This is May. May is my special month. It's my birthday. And so I might just mark my birthday on there too. May is all about flowers, so I chose the floral bouquet. I glued some lace on the back here that will stick up above, and some bling to mark the month, and a pretty pink satin bow. June is the beginning of summertime, and we begin to see the butterflies and birds, so I used some coffee dyed cheesecloth and the big yellow butterfly. I put a green bow on this one that is recycled silk, hand dyed, and I used one of my little pear clips, and I threaded on some pearls and beads and a little heart charm that says made with love, and a little butterfly. I have a lot of beads that my mother gave me from when she was making the Victorian ornaments, and so I ordered these to store the beads in, because she had them in little baggies and pill bottles and all kinds of different things. So as I start to use the beads that she gave me, I think there's a dozen of these boxes, and they open up and the beads can be organized inside so that I can get to them and use them better. These clip shut so they won't fall open, but when you open them, you have to open easily and hold on to it so you don't flip the beads out in the floor. That would be something I would probably do when I'm in a hurry. So that's June. On July, I decided to use the big floral fussy cut out to go trailing down the side of the card. I again put this lace across the back so that it would stick up above. I tied a white bow, that's the seam binding, crinkled seam binding, and I used a pear clip and threaded on a tassel that was out of the things that my mother gave me. This also has a card that pulls out and space to write on back. That's July. August, I used a bouquet of flowers that stick up above, and I made a bow out of this pretty blue satin ribbon, as if it were, and glued it on as if it were tying the bouquet together. And I just added a little bling underneath the August. September, when I was straightening out my mother's beads, this little piece of lace was in there, so I just took it and glued it underneath the month of September. I used the pink butterfly with some bling for his body to stick up above, and a big pink bow. October again has the blue birds, and so I cut out the big ones from our ephemera, fussy cut those out and stuck them on there, and also the single one down here at the bottom is glued on. I used my pretty blue, kind of almost like a turquoise or aqua blue seam binding ribbon, and a pear clip. I think it's gray pear clip. I fed on a couple of beads and a little charm that looks like a tree. And again, there's the birds on the back. In November, I used the yellow butterfly that's on, like the one that's on the printed page here. And I made kind of a ruffle out of the cheesecloth and then glued the butterfly on top to stick up above. And I used a green ribbon that's recycled silk. December, I finally got to use the bluebirds or blue birds sitting on the branch to go with these birds. I used some pearls here underneath the word December and that lace to stick up above. And then there were several specialty cards. I did not use them all, but I will keep them. I had printed out everything. This one is for books I want to read, and it gives me a handy place when someone mentions a book that they liked. I can pull this out and write it down so I don't forget. I also am on a member of Kindle Unlimited because I have Amazon Prime and I have Kindle Unlimited, where I can borrow books off of Amazon and read them and then return them. And sometimes I'll see one advertised and I go to get it and I've already borrowed my limit, so I can write it down in here and go back and borrow it when I finish reading. I just put some lace across the top of this one. I did not put a pocket on the side of this one. I just glued the back on. You can always add a pocket on the back and extra papers in there to write down books you want to read. And then when you read them and check them off, you can refer back to the books that you've read. This is the one I will use the most, and I imagine you would too. It's projects that I want to do. And I have projects other than journals. I make prayer shawls, and I paint with a friend, and different things that I'm making for gifts and all. So this is where I can list all those projects, so that when I find something I want to do and I don't have time to do it right then, I can write it down so I don't forget. There's a pocket here with space for me to write inside and also on the back. That's the end of the cards that I've decorated, and I may come back and do more. There are plenty more in here that I can pull out and use if I want to. Here's one for passwords, internet shopping, birthdays, anniversaries. Things to do today and weekly. So I'll have these just at the back of these items in the box. This was a fun project, and I can see putting something like this together each year. Even if I don't have the month and all that, I can still mark the months and do the same type of thing. And I think this looks so pretty and frilly at the top. So all this just sits down in my box, and I can have this on my desk at all times. And when I'm finished with January, I can move it to the back, and then February will be in the front. The only other thing I thought of that I might want to do is go through my word box and add some words on each month, which I may do as kind of a prompt, or I may wait and see what word speaks to me for the month and put it on some after the fact. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. It has a lot of possibilities other than just being a calendar. You may want to use it for gratitude. You might want to use it for your Bible study, things to do, lists of things you've done. There's a lot of uses for it, especially in the way that I've formatted it with the pockets and extra space to write. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope you'll have a wonderful day. The sun is actually shining here in Kentucky in the United States. And so every day is a gift and a new day dawning, full of opportunities for us to do the things we love and reach out and spread happiness out into the world any way we can. Even one act of kindness can cause a ripple effect and help more people than the one that you helped. So keep that in mind as you go through the day. Be kind, love each other, and I'll be back soon. I have one more calendar project to do off of these digital kits from Shabby Art Boutique, and then I'll decide what I want to do next. So I'll see you soon.